Hey guys, Jared with Trident Fly Fishing, and today we're going to be tying one of my absolute favorite bonefish flies, and also in one of my favorite color combinations. We're going to tie the gotcha, and we're going to get started right now. Okay, so in the vise today I have one of my favorite saltwater hooks. It's the Tiemco 811S in a size 4, and I'm just going to use mono thread for this. Start that, create a little base, and then what I'm going to do with my thread is create a small bump, which I'm going to use to pull against to really seat my eyes down. So make sure those are on there, and then I'm going to figure eight them, and wrap a little under, and those are good. So for my body, this is my favorite way to create bodies on these flies. It's easy and effective. I'm just going to grab some crystal flash, about 6 strands, and I have it in a slight pink color. It's very subtle. So I'm going to measure that. I'm going to create a tail here. I'm going to measure it so it extends about a hook gap, a little longer. And then I'm going to tie this thing down, bring it back. Make sure it's directly on top of the hook shank. I can kind of pull this where I want it. And then I'm just going to wind over this all the way up behind the eyes. And then fold it back, come over it, tie it down. Advance my thread up here. Leave it right behind the eyes. I'm going to wrap a body with this crystal flash. So I'm going to add a slight taper if I can. Cover up right behind there. Okay, that looks good to me. So I'm just going to come through my eyes again. Advance my thread, and then tie this down. Take that out there. Next I'm just going to grab a little bit of UV epoxy and kind of reinforce my body. I find if I don't, it can kind of unravel on me. This is a quick and easy way. It also adds a little bit of translucence and a tiny bit of weight. So just be aware that if you do add epoxy, that it is going to make the fly sink a little quicker. Okay, kind of continue my taper here. Okay, that looks good to me. Grab my light and just hit that, rotate it. Make sure it's fully cured. Okie doke. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab my craft fur, and for craft fur I have a cream color. It's a very subdued light color. So just strip out kind of the short stuff that we don't need here, and then I'm going to line my tips. So the chunk I have is about, a quarter of a pencil. I like to keep these nice thin and sparse, and I want to measure that so it extends pretty much to my crystal flash here, maybe slightly beyond. It's just where I like it. You can vary it slightly. I see them anywhere from, right to the hook bend to about twice as long as I have. I wouldn't go too long. So I'm going to put this right on top of the hook shank, and for me it's easier if I can look. It's slippery and so is mono, so you got to make sure you grab it. Just using pinch wraps. There it is. So really get that on there. Adjust that, check it out, make sure it's where I want it. I'm going to pull it out of my way here. The last thing I'm going to do for this fly is just grab some rubber legs. I have them in clear with pink flash mixed in. I think it adds just enough movement and just enough flash. I like to just use this for my flash instead of putting crystal flash on top or something like that. So the easiest way for me to tie these in is to loop them, pull them up, and tie them back, cover that up. And create a head at the same time. So I'm just going to whip finish over this. Trim that off. So a lot of times when I tie these, I'll leave my legs long and trim them on the water if I need to. I might trim them a little bit. So I like them just longer than my wing. Perfect. You can always pull them out too. Sometimes, depending on how wary the fish are, too much rubber leg action or too much flash can turn them off. But with the rubber legs, you can literally just pull them off. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab some UV epoxy, and I'm going to reinforce my thread wraps. So just brush a little on. And the trick with this is to kind of use a little bit at first and then build up your head. Get your first layer on there. Okay, so it's my first layer. Just going to hit it. And then that looks good, so I'm mostly going to put it right under my eyes here. This is going to really reinforce my eyes and make sure they're not going anywhere. Create a nice little bump. All right, let it settle, and then hit it with your light. All right, guys, and that's it. That's the gotcha. Great, effective pattern. Make sure you guys hit subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified of all of our future fly tying videos. We'll see you next time.